I'm going to go out on a whim here and say that if you're watching this video, you're most likely part of one of two groups of people. It's either one, you're going to be watching this video before June 5th, just desperately trying to get your hands on a Switch 2 pre-order if you didn't get one already, or you're watching this after June 5th and you didn't get a pre-order and you're just frantically trying to get your hands on a Switch 2 in general. Whatever the case may be, I'm just here to tell you that if you didn't get a pre-order yet, or that you didn't get a console yet, there's still a chance you can get one without waiting all that long or having to resort to going to eBay and pay scalper prices. And I know firsthand that this method does in fact work, because this is what I did to get my PS5 a little over a month after the initial release, despite not having a pre-order. And keep in mind that it took well over a year before you could even see a PS5 in the wild. The first thing you need to do is identify your retailers. What I mean by that is you need to think hard about every place you could possibly buy a Switch 2 from. I know it just sounds obvious, but take the time to write it on a piece of paper or write it in your notes app, because not every retailer is available to everyone. For instance, Canadians can't have access to Target because Target doesn't run in Canada. But on the flip side, if you live outside of the United States, you can still use Amazon to pre-order your Switch 2. Once you know everywhere where you can possibly pre-order or buy your Switch 2, I want you to take the time to go and double check all of these retailers. In the case of the pre-orders, a lot of them got cancelled. I think it was GameStop, if I'm remembering correctly, cancelled every pre-order that was obtained with the use of a bot. And just in general, I've seen a lot of people saying that they've had their Switch 2 pre-orders just get randomly cancelled despite not really doing anything wrong. And although that sucks for them, that potentially means there's another Switch 2 out there for you to pre-order or buy. But don't just check online, take the time to call your local retailers, because there are some stores that do have a certain amount of pre-orders that they can do online, but also a different batch of pre-orders that you can only get by going physically to the store. For example, I know my local GameStop, as of April 27th, still has 2 Mario Kart bundles still available to pre-order, so that's why I'm saying it's really worth giving a call. And that advice still applies after June 5th when the Switch 2 releases. Because of course the retailers are going to have enough consoles to give to the people that have the pre-orders, but they're most likely going to be getting a few more for the people that weren't able to pre-order. Now that we know everywhere's where we can either buy or pre-order the Switch 2, and now that we've double checked to make sure that there's really none available, now we get to move on to the second part, which is getting ready for the next wave of pre-orders or getting ready for the next shipment of Switch 2s. Now, this is a two-step process. As you've probably already heard before, people are going to recommend that you choose the retailers you want to buy from or can buy from and create an account, and make sure that your shipping information and your credit card details are already on the account. This way, once there is a new pre-order or a new batch of Switch 2s that get in stock, everything will be streamlined. All you have to do is put it in your cart, then all the info should already be there, and you can simply just check out. Because in these situations, you don't have a second to spare. But here's the thing, it doesn't matter how fast you can check out if you're not getting there first. Because even if you just arrive a second too late, you're probably going to miss your opportunity. And that's why the second step of getting prepared is make sure that you're notified the second that these things go up. Make sure to be following all of these accounts on Twitter and make sure that your post notifications for them are on. I understand it can be annoying having your notifications on because you're going to get notifications for every single thing they post, but really it's short-term pain for long-term gain. This is the only way you can guarantee yourself to be able to know when these things go up immediately. And additionally to this, you can also use the tool nowinstock.net, which will allow you to get an email whenever there's new either pre-orders or stock available. I'll also make sure to have the link for that website in the description below. Now, if you've already tried all of this, there's still one last thing you can still try. But before we get into that, I have a short message. If this is your first time here, hey, my name's Acadrien and I post weekly Nintendo videos just like this. So if that sounds like something you would enjoy, I would greatly appreciate it if you would simply consider to like and subscribe. And without further ado, let's go right back into the video. Now, the last thing that I can recommend you do, and this is more for the pre-orders at least, is go on My Nintendo and register your interest. The only thing about this is I would really recommend that this should be your last avenue if you're really desperate on trying to get your hands on either the pre-order or the console. The reason I say this is because, as far as I'm aware, this is the first time that Nintendo themselves is becoming a retailer. Typically, Nintendo would be relying on other retailers such as GameStop, Walmart, Best Buy, the list goes on, and this can be seen in both a good way and a bad way. The good is that, it's another avenue for people to go down. The bad is because, it's their first time and you need to expect some jank. For instance, if you do actually end up buying a Switch 2 from Nintendo, there's no guarantee it's going to get there to your house day one. But that is also because of their decision, mostly just because they don't want Switch 2s getting to people's doors on June 4th. Because for whatever reason they think the world is going to stop spinning if it does. And the final thing you need to keep in mind if you're going to go through with the My Nintendo store is all the anti-scalping mechanisms that they have in place. I know that there are some people that had issues with this, but from my point of view, I think they overall did good. They just went slightly too strict on it. Basically, there are going to be some requirements for you to meet first before they offer you a pre-order. Some of these prerequisites include making sure that you're signed up for their newsletter. They're also going to be verifying if you are an active Nintendo member, as in Nintendo Switch Online. And also, they're going to look at your play history. Not what specific games you've played, but overall, throughout the console generation, how many hours have you played your Nintendo Switch? But yeah, although I do recommend you do try this method if it really comes down to it, because at the end of the day, it is free to just put your name in anyways, right? The worst that can happen is it just doesn't work out. I would still recommend trying to get it literally anywhere else. Now with all that being said, that's all I have for this video, and depending on when you're watching this, I'm really curious to know, did you get your Switch 2 pre-orders in, or did you manage to get yourself a console? Let me know down in the comments. I would once again like to thank you for watching the video all the way to the end, and if you did enjoy this video, why not check out another one? For whatever reason, YouTube thinks that you'll enjoy this one, so try checking out that one next. And until next time, Wadao.